Hello and welcome to Carl Nespoli is Dropping Names, where some names you may recognize and others you may not. I am excited to have my first guest who was supposed to be on my first show, but he was busy, directing this big movie, I believe in Budapest. He is a stuntman. He is a stunt coordinator. He's an action coordinator. He's a second unit director. He's a husband. He's a father. He crosses all the boxes, and he's a handsome bastard. Please welcome Brad Martin.
What's up, man?
Brad, I say this to everybody. How the hell did I get you here? I mean, honestly.
Dude, I got to say that, dude, you're a good guy, man. You're a nice guy,
Yeah.
and people just want to help you out. I think that, for me personally, why did I help you out? I mean, one of the reasons is that your stoke and your love for the business is what's your people's stoke for the business is what gets me going.
Yeah.
So when I see somebody who's motivated and wants to get in, I love to engage and help however I can. So
Yeah. I noticed that. Like I said to a couple of people, TV shows influenced us. You know, me, it was A-Team, it was Dukes, Fall Guy, obviously, movies like Point Break. But you guys, you know, the guys that you came up in the business with, you know, Chad and Dave and Rigby and all those guys, meeting you guys at the drop zone. You're also a skydiver. I forgot to mention that in the intro. You guys really influenced me and my crew, that I was jumping with and hanging with, and you guys were like our motivators because we lived in the same area, and seeing your guys' work was like, hey, I kind of wanted to do that. Television definitely motivated, but you guys were influential, and I think I speak for the other guys that I used to kick it with. And but I want to go back to the beginning.
Well, I was starting with the beginning too. I got a question for you, which you brought up something which is super interesting for people who are listening. Is that we met at the drop zone? So
Yes.
we met. I was a stuntman. You were sky surfing.
Right.
I don't believe you had any stunt motivations back then.
No.
So you were jumping, we were jumping. We were in the kind of this similar circles, so we knew each other from the drop zone. But then you decided to be a stuntman. So what made that change for you? I'm interested.
Well, I wanted to be an actor, but I spoke about this privately, and I don't mind speaking about it publicly. I had a speech impediment, and back then it was, I can control it, now. But back then, dialogue scared me, but I wanted to be in the production. When I was sky surfing and skydiving, I will admit it, I got into that sport there because it was a way for me to get in the industry. The top guys, Troy Hartman, Rob Harris, Patrick, they were doing commercials, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I can get in, that way. You, of course, you had your black belt in martial arts and other gymnastics. That was.
Well, I started skydiving to add to my list of things that I could do as stunts, but I already decided I was going to be a stuntman. You were using that as an entryway into stunts.
An intro.
Right?
Yeah, because when I first went out and hustled, I hustled a well-known stunt coordinator, and he said to me, hey, listen, I have two sons. They're, your size, and, you're an average size white Italian guy. I'm going to go with, So I learned the business early that it's who you know, what you know. So I figured I was going to do it through skydiving. And that's when I met you. And I only did one skydive with you, and it was a track and dive. Tracking is basically when you put your body kind of in a horizontal but vertical position where you achieve forward movement. And it was a bunch of us, I think it was. And you were tracking on your back, and we were just chasing you. And I just thought it was a fucking coolest thing.
Those are the best jumps. Tracking jumps are the
Yeah,
best.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You cover, a lot of ground there. You got, the RPMs going in the sky there. It's the most exhilarating. Next to sky surfing.
Rigby and I would do two-way tracking jumps. One would be on their back and one would be on their stomach. But
Yeah.
the whole idea was that the guy on their stomach had to stay with the guy on their back.
Yeah.
And the guy on his back would try to outfly the other guy. And
Yeah.
if you could get above the guy who's on his stomach, you won. And we'd talk smack the whole day after that.
And it sounds easy, but that's, when I was tracking on my back, I was going more vertical than I was, achieving horizontal.
Yeah, there's a technique for sure.
Absolutely. So air awareness. When I met you, I was maybe a couple of 100 jumps there, maybe a little bit more than that.
I mean, I would say you had more than me when I met you. I think that you were already there.
I started, my first jump was in 88, wet my pants.
Yeah.
Total. I was terrified. But I was hooked. I was a horrible student. I had 4 malfunctions under a 100 jump.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Level 6. I tumbled during deployment. I got my left leg stuck in one of my lines.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 13. I had a high speed malfunction where I had the old FXC. And I don't want to bore the audience, but I had a lot of it was.
And just for the record, what Carl's talking about right now, I have 1,200 jumps, which in the big scheme of things is not that many, but for more than just a recreational skydiver, it's a fair amount. But I've never had a malfunction, and for you to have 4 in your early days, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, 7 total, and
oh my God.
Yeah, and 3 of them where I became really close to my faith, because I asked him, get me down, I won't jump anymore. I had I was entangled in both my canopies, high speed.
Your reserve was out, and you were wrapped in both of them.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. What happened? And I'll talk about this briefly. I borrowed a rig from Bob Zinn, Cal City. During deployment, I had a high speed. I had a slider hang up, so I was spinning really, really fast. Looked at my handles, and I went out of sequence. And I went straight to my reserve. Oh shit. Oh boy. So my canopy falls right in front of me. I got a gift. Amazing. I start picking it up and I put it in between my legs, but it got wrapped around my visual altimeter on my chest. Let me fix it. So I open up my legs, it goes, and then it gets wrapped around, puts me in a fetal position going backwards, my reserve. I had no brake. I tried to spin out of it to exhaustion, Brad. I was out of it. I was gassed out, and I said, all right, Carl, you want to be a stuntman? This is going to be your biggest job. And I was only achieving maybe from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock position up in the air. And I said, all right, right before landing, you have to get as far as you can get, facing forward. Then I was saying, too early, compound fracture. Too late, paralyzation. I mean, all this was going through.
So you actually had the realization on your way down. You were assimilating this to being a stuntman.
I was. And this was my biggest stunt. And last second, I timed it perfect. Now, Mojave Desert's got these bristly bushes every couple of 100 yards. One here, maybe one, half a mile, quarter mile. I landed in one of them. And
for the audience too, like when you're skydiving, there's like a designated area that you can land in, which is usually grass, and it's nice. But if you're out of control or you can't get to your drop zone, you're landing out in the bush. It's gonna be gnarly.
And I saw all the pickup trucks coming after me. I saw the dirt, behind me. So this calmness came upon me, and all I was worried about was my old man, Dad. getting the phone call because he didn't want me to skydive. That was the only thing. I almost made a peace with it because I was like, this is it. Brad, I mean, honestly, this took on a whole different direction. And so I went feet first. Then I went into the sand. Helmet popped off. Then I was just spinning, and I landed face forward in these bristly bushes. My canopy grasped the bushes and then stopped me. And I had, prickly marks all over my face, but my eyes, my goggles stood on. Wow. And everybody came up to me, thought I was dead. Bob Zinn, Greg Beloy, everybody just said, listen, Carl, this isn't working out for you, bro. If you walk away now, the hardest thing I ever did in life was when Bob Salai says, I got a rig and I got a ticket if you want to go back up. And I said, I'm going to go back up. And that's how. So the way that this skydiving transitioned for me.
And that's a good way to liken to stunts as well, is that you can't let these fears and these things that go wrong once in a while set you back or put you off, because at the end of the day, when they call action and you've decided you're going to do the job, there's no going back.
Absolutely. Brad, I made a living out of chasing my fear. Claustrophobic, fear of heights.
Speaking.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. That was a major fear. But enough of that. This is about you. So, you are from, is it Spring Valley?
Sun Valley.
Sun Valley.
Yeah,
so
ski
you were,
resort.
Yeah, and which you were competitive.
I grew up ski racing. I started racing when I was 10. I was racing it was the Intermountain division. I was climbing the ladder in the ranks of trying to get to the Olympics one day. So
right.
I was in that cycle. And when I was a senior, when I was graduating from college, I got a letter from the U.S. ski team where they were taking 15 people to U.S. ski team camp, and they were going to draft 12 of us.
Right.
So there was, what is that? 80%, 75%, whatever.
Yeah.
The chance that I was going to get that gig, and my dad wouldn't let me go, because he wanted me to go to college.
You made a deal with him, right?
I made a deal. Actually, the deal I made with him was the year prior. He said I could take a year off and focus on ski racing.
Wow.
And then when that came around and it came time to call him on it, he said he never made that deal with me. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I reneged.
Right. Now, how do you come to Hollywood? And pretty much, I mean, coming from out of town, not having a popular, last name in the industry. Back then, the stunt business was like the mafia without the violence. They weren't letting you in.
No, they weren't letting us in. And I was told that time and time again. I would talk to people on the phone.
Yeah.
And they was like, kid, this isn't for you.
Right.
I was just on the phone with Mike Gunther yesterday. Mike Gunther, Chad Selsky, David Leach, and Marcus Young and I all had a little company back in the day called Smash Cut. And we were just talking about how we got there. And we all got moved to L.A. None of us knew anybody. And we all climbed the ranks and didn't take no for an answer. All
you guys, I mean, reached high.
Well, I think the thing is about that is like you take all of us.
Yeah.
All 5 of us that I just named are top level martial artists. And right around the early mid 90s, right there, things were making a transition from cowboy style stunts to technical fighting, technical stunt stuff. I mean, just prior 8 years before that, Lane Levitt came in and started like revolutionizing rigging, and everything became very scientific and dialed in. And now people you needed to be accountable for this stuff, and it wasn't a cowboy thing anymore. It was very much an athlete thing.
Right.
And so I think that when we were climbing the ranks, all we did was train. We trained and looked for work. That was it.
Yeah. And that's what, I read.
And that's what I tell people. That's what I tell people when they're getting in the business too. It's like when you're trying to be a stunt person, if that's your goal, your job is trying to become a stuntman more than 8 hours a day.
Yep.
You need to dedicate 40 hours a week plus.
Right.
But I mean, that's not what Chad and Dave and Rigby and Palermo, we lived it.
Yeah.
When we weren't training, we were watching action movies and analyzing them, or talking about it, or planning some gag, something. I never stopped. I didn't really have girlfriends. I was just doing stunts.
Yeah. And you actually answered my next question, and about giving advice, but training, being equipped, ready to work, still doesn't get you a job. Now, I read your bio. Connie Parmesan was the one that you were knocking on his door, so to speak, asking him just to assist, and he finally just let you in. And
I mean, that's there. Yeah. So like my relationship with Conrad Palmisano was special in a way. I mean, I got to believe that one of the reasons why he took a liking to me was just because my technical talent.
Yeah.
So he brought me in, or he didn't. Well, he did bring me in. Jennifer Caputo brought me down to hustle Connie on Batman Forever, and we went in, and then Connie invited me to a martial arts audition. Right. And we were there to audition for Harvey Two-Face's Thugs, which were all supposed to be over 6 foot, over 200 pounds. Right. And I was under that, but Connie liked how I did on the audition. Yeah. So he brought me in as one of the thugs. Mike Smith was another one of the small guys. So he and I were like the smaller guys of the group that got brought in there. And then he liked how we fought. And then, I was 5'11", and he's like, well, you're not far off Chris O'Donnell. Hey, you want to choreograph this fight scene with Chris O'Donnell, or this laundry scene, which Yin Bu back in the old Hong Kong movies did this laundry scene. I think it was in the movie Dreadnought, where he was like wringing out clothes and hanging them up. And he said, Joel Schumacher, the director, wants to emulate this. Can you do that? And I said, look, yeah, I can do it. So he said, what can you, bring me some stuff. I brought him some choreo. Some of it was, directly ripped off from that movie. And others, a couple little things I made up. And they liked it. And so I ended up training Chris O'Donnell for that. And then I ended up doubling Chris on that. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, okay, so now how do I stay in with this guy? I worked my butt off. I did everything I was supposed to do on Batman Forever. And so for the next year and a half, every 3 months, I marked it down on a calendar, I would write Connie a handwritten letter. Right. Hey, Connie, thank you so much for the opportunity on Batman, blah, 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 blah. Someday, if you ever had the opportunity, I'd love to learn from you, if I could ever assist you. And a year and a half later, he calls me, he goes, hey, Brad, it's Connie. I'm like, hey, Connie. He's like, hey, I got this job doing this movie. I thought maybe be my assistant. And, we're double this guy. He's a new guy. His name's George Clooney. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. It's like, all right, cool. So, he actually wasn't he was a new movie guy. He was on ER. He was already famous on ER. Right. But, so I went off and I did The Peacemaker with Connie, and I was doubled Clooney. It was DreamWorks' first movie. Right. And I think Clooney's second movie. I think he did like Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes or something like that. Right. His first legit movie. So. Yeah, and then you wind up doubling him quite a bit. And then I did 7 movies with him, I think. Right. Yeah. And then not to embarrass you, but then you also got the one of the top 50 good-looking guys. They did an interview with. I remember picking up People. Was it People or Cosmopolitan? Sexy Stuntman. So I forgot to mention that in your bio. That's funny. I've got a really, really funny Connie. When I first moved to LA, I was, walking around in Hollywood, and I think I was in the Valley or somewhere, and I see a black Mercedes with "I Fall for You" license plate, and I write a letter. Hey, I'm interested in getting into stunts, and similar thing, but never meeting him, and just the, hey, I'm interested, would love to, meet you, and, blah, blah, blah. And you didn't know who it was. You just knew it was a guy with an "I Fall for You" license plate. Absolutely. Okay. So fast forward, I started doing extra work, which is, your background, non-union, speaking part. But, I think it's the best lesson to learn, the industry, the technical part of the industry, and also you have a lot of downtime to be aware and see what's going on around you if you choose to take that opportunity. Absolutely. Yeah. And I was on a movie called Out for Justice, and they put me in a squad car, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm with a stunt driver, blah blah blah, and we're going to be pulling up hot to this barber shop, and I got a shotgun. We're going to go in there. This is cool. And I'm telling the driver about,
what happened. I said, hey, you know what? I left a note on this black Mercedes. It said, I fall for you. So I figured it was, a stunt guy and blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me and he goes, was that you? What's really,
Nice.
and that was Connie, who was also the stunt coordinator.
Director. Coordinator and second director, maybe not on Out for Justice, but on a lot of those cigar movies.
Yeah. So that was my Yep. If you notice, I'm a big superhero.
I didn't notice. Oh
No,
wow. Oh yeah.
you didn't notice. Okay.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
You doubled I mean, from Spider-Man to Daredevil, you worked on Batman doubling. Chris O'Donnell.
So I did Clooney for Batman and Batman and Robin. I did Chris O'Donnell and Robin and Batman Forever. Ben Affleck and Daredevil. I did Agent Smith, and I did Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man when he fought Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man 2.
Yes, and the bank scene.
And the train scene. Yeah.
Yes. So, God, I just lost my train of thought. I believe I first hustled you. It was on Daredevil, and I was brand new. I got advice. We used to get coffee with Joe Sarko and Tim Rigby. So he said the same thing that you said. This is not your part-time job. You got to live it. You got to live it. You got to be in it. You got to train with the people. I mean, I believe it was Rigby, and also Palermo gave me that advice, because all you guys were skydiving. You, Rex, Chris O'Hara, all you guys, and so I found myself going out to the drop zone, not so much to skydiving, but to just be around,
hustle.
You guys, absolutely. And so, God, it was something I just, I'll get to it.
You were talking about superheroes.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Hilo. So Michael Hilo is a fellow stunt guy. He's a nut job, crazy guy. I love him. But he says, when I first met Brad, he was brand new in the business, and Mike said that one day you were gonna either double or work as Spider-Man, like that. That was your goal, and you achieved it. I mean, how?
I don't know if I called that, but funny enough. So two things about that.
Yeah.
One, I did make a list of goals when I moved to LA. And I wish I still had that list. The paper's gone now.
Right.
But I mean, it said all the markers that I wanted to get to at certain times, and I made sure I hit everyone. I got to everyone years before the dates of them. Like when I was 35, I wanted to coordinate a studio movie, stunt coordinate a studio movie, but I did that when I was 30.
Check.
So so I kind of was ahead of the schedule and everything. The other thing I was going to say about that was, what were you just saying?
Michael Hilo, Spider-Man. That's your goal.
Oh, right. And the other thing I was going to say too is, like, on the Spider-Man front, is that now that I have doubled Spider-Man, it's funny because I have a picture of me in a tree when I was 6 with a Spider-Man mask on next to me as Spider-Man when I was 33.
Right.
It was pretty cool. So.
And now Jax wears a Spider-Man costume. Jax is his son, one of two. But yeah, so.
One of 4.
Wow,
I
dude.
got 2 in LA.
Damn. Yeah. You know what? I always admired you about you. You didn't wear Stuntman or Hollywood on your sleeve, on your shirt, on your hat.
Refused,
you were a low key. A lot of guys got side action because, I'm a Hollywood. You didn't do that.
Dude, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't pump it. I can't talk about myself.
Yeah.
I can't wear shit. I can't even be in the group. Connie brought me to the Stuntman Association.
Yeah.
I was in there for 7 years. As soon as he called me one day, because I never went to the meetings. He knew I didn't want to be there. And when he stepped down from being president, he called me and goes, "Hey, Brad, I'm going to step down now from being president. If you want to quit, you can."
Right.
And I was like, "Cool, thank you." And I did. I wrote them a letter the next day and left. Dude, I love them. I love Unlimited. I love all the groups.
Right.
I'm not a group person. I don't want to fall in line.
Yeah.
I make my own path. I do my own thing, and I don't want to catch the slack or catch the flack from anybody else.
You're a dedicated stuntman. I mean, you, Rigby, also, you guys were it was the love for the industry and not the fringe benefits or the parties and
I mean, Rigby and I talked all the time about this.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like, look, Pete Antico, if you watch this dude, I love you, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing against that. It's just I know that like somebody like Pete is and Eddie Braun and people like that who
Sure.
I think are great people, but they approach the business from the business standpoint. They're
Right.
like, this is the movie business. I get it. They're
Right.
here to make as much money as they can. Cool.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way. It was never in my consciousness.
Yeah.
I want to be a stuntman, and the money was secondary. It was like,
Right.
oh wow. And Rigby and I would talk all the time about like people bitching about meal penalties or like not getting their first call or whatever. It's like, you guys don't get the game. The game
Right.
is it's a little give and take. Sure, you're gonna get fucked sometimes, but you're gonna get styled and dialed sometimes too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just take the ride. It's all gonna work itself out in the end and be cool.
Yep. Yep. Most
And
embarrassing.
there's a saying like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case in the stunt business. I mean, maybe to some extent, but dude, as a coordinator and as I would say that all of my buddy coordinators, you included, like you want the people that speak when spoken to
Right. Right.
and keep it relevant
Yeah.
in the work area,
Yeah.
right?
But even that, it's still not, guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but that's what you're
yeah.
looking for.
Absolutely.
Right. And then when you find people like that, you hold on to them. It's like,
Yes.
I need that person around because these people make it easy for me to do my job.
So if somebody is Hollywood, has the experience, but it's a pain in the ass, you probably would you?
I have.
Yeah.
I have not hired people being excellent stunt performers because I didn't like their personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens.
Wow. Wow.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I've chosen not to hire the best
Wow.
in some situations.
Even though your name is on it, and he's going to do a great, or she is going to do a great job, you still went with the personality. I'm not.
Well, look, there's a philosophy. Like, so I'm on set and I'm coordinating a fight, right? And
Yeah.
I got two people. I got one ND guy and I got the actor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Chad Zalesky. Chad, come in here and throw this punch for me, bro, because I got to go do this other thing. I don't need something to worry about.
Right. Right.
So Chad comes on the set. I could look the other way and just come back tomorrow
Yeah.
and everything would be fine.
Yep.
But you bring somebody in who doesn't know what they're doing, they could completely fuck that up.
Absolutely,
right?
bro.
But I
Yeah.
also love to give people opportunities too. So
Yep.
I don't want to like be super stringent on that kind of thing. So
Sure.
I like to bring people in and give them opportunity. I forgot what I was just riffing off of there with you.
As far as hiring people with personality conflicts, you're just not, and you didn't.
Oh, and I know what I was going to say is that so when you do that though, you don't need the best of the best.
Right.
So here's the line in which is the level of performer I need to perform this punch.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in Chad, who's the top of the top.
Right.
But if he can't do it, or if I don't want to do it, if I want the opportunity to bring in some other people, I'll bring in some people down here.
Right.
Rarely do I bring in anybody. Never do I bring in somebody below the line of what they need to do
Yeah.
based on their skill set.
Yeah.
But I'll bring people who are right on it. Just if I know it's a small gag, like say for instance, like an ND gag, for instance.
Right. Right.
And there's some people that are running from an explosion or a car squealing around a corner, something like that. I'll bring people in just to see, to give them tests, like somebody who's like a person that would have been you 20 years ago. Somebody super stoked on the business, trying to get into it. I'll do anything. Okay, come on out. I got an easy spot. You've hustled me 20 times, dude. You're super eager. Let's see if you can at least follow direction.
Right.
Let's
right.
start there.
Right.
And
Yep.
so that's where it starts. And so everybody who's a stunt person that gets a gig, you need to realize whether you're working for me or you're working for anybody else, that you're working for the same person every time, because somebody's going to call me and ask how you performed that last time. Everybody's knows. So every time you work, you're establishing your work profile and the way that people expect you to be. And if you talk a shitload on my set and you disrupt the process,
Yeah.
the next guy's going to hear about it and you're not going to get as many opportunities.
They don't think like that now. There's so much
but they
BS.
need to know that exists. It
Yeah.
still exists.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they don't know it it's
Yeah,
just their
yeah.
loss. It's like,
Not
you gotta
that,
figure it
not
out.
that they don't know it. Yeah, we didn't have the technology now, which is somewhat of a benefit as far as when you put something on YouTube that's very impressive. But when you start, socializing and and start, being negative out there, it could also, social media could help or hurt a person's career. And I've seen both. I've seen somebody brand, new in the business, like not brand new, but the guys like Rich King or, Thayer or all these other guys that were able to use technology rather than going from set to set, putting their stuff on social media. That caught the eyes of the people in the position to hire, where other people that may have gotten political or gotten negative online, it kind of isolates them from the industry, and it practically commits career suicide.
Dude, I mean, just as they're like in the United States right now, there's like a divide between stunt people and the culture. There's like half the people have an ego and they want the Academy Award, they want the Oscar.
Yep.
And the other half is the fall guy, unknown stuntman, just I want to do my job and I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I don't care who the fuck knows
I will say that. Yes.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm doing my job. I'm happy with myself and I don't need to impress anybody.
Yeah.
And so I like to work with those similar people.
Yep.
Because once ego gets involved, it starts messing things up with the dynamics with the actors, with the directors, with people speaking out of turn. There's so many things that ego can really ruin.
Now, you didn't play the political game in the business. You didn't hire sons of established coordinators just to, rub elbows, or did you? Or how did that work?
I didn't. And when Connie brought me into the Stuntman Association, I told him, I said, I don't want to be beholden to this law of you have to bring in 50% of the group for your ND spots. That was kind of the deal. And it's like, well, so no, I never played that game. I wasn't really.
That's a risk, Brad. But weren't you taking a risk?
Well, there's that. And so fast forward to 2008, I did the movie Angels and Demons in LA, and I got to hire a ton of people.
Yep.
I hired like 40 stunt people, and it was awesome. It was like and Die Hard the year before that, 2007. I was in town for 2 years. I got to hire a ton of people.
Yeah.
But I've always been the guy that gets shipped overseas by myself with like 4 or 5 guys and go figure it out, Brad. You hire the locals over there, and that's been my deal. That's been my career. So it wasn't necessarily by choice. It was just lack of opportunity.
And you just mentioned, a couple of big shows. Anybody watching this, just go to IMDb, type in Brad Martin. You're going to see about 50 movies that you've probably watched time and time again, all action. Is there anything that you haven't achieved? Like I said, I just rattled off on the intro. I just glazed the top of what you had accomplished. Is there anything else that you're like, all right, you know what, this would be cool?
I have a couple of ideas. So in 2015, I kind of had a little bit of my own awakening. It was just the kind of a way that I viewed the movie business at that point. Based on some things that had happened to me.
Yeah.
But I took the standpoint then that we're making movies. My job is to, in the most part, not always, but let's say 50% of the time, is to create the most violent, exciting action that I can come up with. Mm-hmm. And then I need to present that in a way that people can watch it. Yeah. And then afterwards, at the end of the day, when the movie comes out, I need to be proud of it and go show my kids and, hey, look at all the cool ways I thought of killing this guy or naming this person. And I think that there's an element to the movie business with like John Wick's a fucking great example of like desensitizing people to violence. It's like, dude, okay, like I get it. It's cool. And martial arts is one of my favorite things in the world. So I understand the love for it. But at the same time, we're also teaching people that don't know anything about martial arts and just like looking at movies just to kind of see the way the world works sometimes maybe, and showing people that killing and maiming and beating people up is the way to go. So I kind of like stepped away from all that stuff. And
Wow.
I was going somewhere with that because the question you asked me was.
I asked you, is there another list that?
All right, so things that I haven't accomplished. So when I did that, my goals kind of changed.
Right.
So I've done a couple things like, we don't need to talk about it right now. We can if we want, but I did that documentary just kind of to expose what my feelings on the movie industry were. If anybody wants to see it, you can go to outofshadows.org and check it out for free. It just talks about, the dark side of the movie business and the things that I don't like about the movie business. Yeah. And so, like, I did have some goals. Like, yeah, sure. I wanted to direct. Do I still want to direct? Yeah. No. Oh, sorry. This is where I was going with it. Was that so through that awakening and the violence and stuff? Now I'm trying to find other jobs that I can do to make a living. And there's nothing that pays what I make based on the time and effort I put into this business and how I'm established in the business.
Right.
I can't compete with that.
Right.
So how do I come back to the movie business and kind of keep it sane in my mind?
Right.
And so what I focus on, and as a stunt coordinator, as a stunt performer, as an action director, I don't get a choice in terms of what jobs I take. I usually have to take what I'm offered.
Right.
But if I could choose, and now getting to the point of what my point is I want to direct someday. Now I've got a couple of projects I want to direct. So what do I want to direct? I want to direct life-inspiring stories and things that involve action and adventure, but not necessarily violence, not dark, not shoot 'em up killing necessarily, but good stories, upbeat, influential stories.
You know that those two genres are not going to get theatrical release because that's not what the audience is looking for. They're looking for zombies and killing
but you don't know that. That's what we're kind of being told right now. Like, but you go and you check out the movie Sound of Freedom. Made $200 million.
Yes. Yeah.
People want that content.
They're just not Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, but people want that content. It's not exposed to them. They're not. The studios aren't making those movies, but people are rejecting the woke culture movies for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Disney's losing money. Star Wars has basically been abandoned by all their fans. I mean, dude, they destroyed that franchise.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's sad. It's sad. The love of cinema seems to be lost. It seems to be more of your business, now.
Well, I think it's more of a control thing now. People understand that. Well, I think the audiences are starting to understand this, but I think the idea of movies back in the day until now was to help influence people.
Yeah.
So we're going to show them, like I'm saying, desensitizing people to violence, to show people that fighting's cool and shooting people's cool, or seeing somebody shot is not a big deal and you can just walk the other way. Like these are the things that they do in the movies, the lessons that you should not be taught.
What do you show Jax? What do you have him see?
Not much right now. We're just watching little kid things. But.
Right. But I mean, as he's, your wife is also a stunt woman. So you're a stunt family. Are you, you have a trampoline, the kids climbing, the kids showing aspects that he's going to follow footsteps of his mom and dad. How do you encourage, discourage, or you just let them be?
Look, my job as a parent, I feel, is to offer up ideas to my kids and things about possible futures and possible things that they can do. So I expose them to as much as I can, and all I care about is if they find something that they're passionate about. So if my kid wants to be a stuntman, cool. He's passionate about it because he's passionate about it, not because I forced it on him or anything like that. Right. But if that's what he chooses to do, heck yeah, I'm on board with it. I'll make it happen.
I think he's going to be forced because when he goes to school, my dad's Spider-Man, my mom's a stunt woman. He's going to be a popular kid. He's a good-looking kid. He's going to give him a baseball bat to chase away all of your women. He's a good-looking kid.
Just stop being such a little asshole.
Well, we all were. I was an asshole growing up. We spoke about you guys motivating guys like me. There was one time, and for we went to your party with a mutual friend of ours. Wally, it was his wife's birthday, and you said, "Hey man, I got to apologize for." It was Poseidon. You asked to look at my resume.
Constantine. Wasn't it Constantine?
No, you were working for
Doug. You said Poseidon.
Yes.
Because you also came out and I saw you on Constantine. And that was my story that I thought that I told you, but you had this story.
You said, "Let me see your resume." And it was, I was a hustling fiend, man. You kept, records. I kept records that when I used to hustle, Jeff, Dassner, didn't you see me last week? No, actually, I saw you February 8th. Wait. What's that? I was like, that's when I hustled you. He's like, whoa, I was a dedicated hustler, but I wasn't getting jobs. I wasn't getting jobs for my lack of, skills. The most embarrassing thing I think I ever did was listen to a couple of people and send you out a reel I look at it now, I almost want to post it because I'm not obligated to the business. I just want to show people you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And everybody said, get a reel, shop it around, and mine was not ready. And I remember I sent it out.
Do you remind me? You want me to tell that story about Constantine?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Carl came out, and I was working on the movie Constantine. R.A. Rondell was a stunt coordinator. Chad was doubling Keanu, and we were out there choreographing some stuff. And Carl came out to hustle, and I can't remember if this was before or after Poseidon. It doesn't matter, really.
Right.
And you had just done a video. You just made a fight scene, a little Matrix-esque fight scene with some wire work, and you had a trench coat on, black trench coat stuff. And you brought it up to me, and you wanted to show me the video and let me know ask me my thoughts on it. And you showed it to me, and whatever. I don't. It was neither one way or the other. It just wasn't. It wasn't an expert martial artist doing a stylized video. It was somebody trying to get into stunts to show that with their skills and do a video. And right there, I told you right then. I go, hey man, and this is what I was apologizing to you for.
Yeah,
was that I didn't want to discourage you because I was completely 100% wrong, because I told you, I said, you were 38 at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
And
I was
like,
almost 40. Yeah.
You don't want to be falling down the stairs, getting hit by cars, and getting into the stunt business at this age, bro. And I saw that fight scene, and it was okay, but you would never get based on that reel, you would never get a job doing a martial arts
Absolutely
fight.
not, yeah.
And so I was like, maybe this isn't for you. You don't have the skills. And then you moved here to Atlanta and have crushed it, bro. And it's super impressive. And I think it's really cool what you did.
I left LA.
But you didn't do it. You did it. You not only did you do well at work, you and maybe this is from your prior life as well, but you took the money you made and you invested it well, and you've created opportunities for yourself. So you're set now. It's awesome.
Yeah. If I had to do it over again, I would probably not take the advice of certain people. I believe that may have probably didn't help me, didn't hurt me, but you mentioned you were one of two people. I waited 90 minutes with Nick Herms and Tyler Voth for Hal Needham. He was at the health spa on top of Bill's, who was a calling service that we used to use. 90 minutes for him to come down. He came down. He was asking questions to, Tyler, who's incredibly talented, and Nick. Then he, looked at me and he goes, "How old are you?" And I don't know. I think I might have been, same age, or maybe you're 40. He goes, "You're too old to be a stuntman." Broke my heart. But that...
I mean, I wasn't saying it from that angle. Like,
yes.
You're too old to be stuntman. I was saying...
Yes.
Mine was, you're too old. I think that you're too old to want to try to be a stuntman because you're going to end up being in a lot of pain. That's kind of the idea. So.
And this is, I don't tell this to be like a ha-ha, told you guys. No. This is the same advice that I find myself giving to other people because I know what I was feeling.
Yeah, so now you're at that point.
Absolutely.
You have people hustling you now.
Yes.
And you're probably hearing yourself say the same shit
Absolutely.
that people said to you way back in the day.
Absolutely.
That's hysterical. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And now I go, now I get it. But back then, I had no backup plan.
I thought I fucking knew it all too. When I was 27, I'd been in the business 4 or 5 years. I'm like, I'm the man. I'm 1X. I'm doubling the leads. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I have no idea. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. Listen, I had the right people open up doors for me. I was, my thing was I was going to keep on knocking. They're either going to call the cops on me or they're going to let me in. And, thankfully, some, great people said, listen, take this ND spot. And I must have impressed them. And things just work I will say
But
this.
so you said you got that ND spot. So
Yes.
then, now you're under scrutiny. Now you're under the eye of the industry.
Yes.
Because whatever happens tonight on set is going to get out there.
Absolutely.
And if you crush it, it's like, oh, cool. I found a good new kid right now. Carl Nespoli. He's sick. He listens. He does his job. Oh, cool. I needed to get.
And that was it.
Right.
And that was it. And that's what, worked for me, thankfully. And then just, timing, it just,
And anybody who's watching this wants to be an inspiring, or who is an inspiring stunt person, like, you have no idea how difficult it is to find people to just follow directions exactly.
Yeah.
We're in a business where everything on screen is defined by the director, where you want to see specific things. So you need everybody to follow directions precisely. And there's so many people that think that they know better, or don't think that they need to listen, or they're missing the idea, or they don't understand what they're trying to achieve, and so they don't listen, and then those people only get 1 or 2 opportunities before they're put aside. So.
Do you, pull them aside, or you just let them just hang themselves, or both? Because I know you got great stories.
No. Yeah, I'll tell you one in a second here. But like, if I'm hiring somebody and I'm trying to give them a shot, I don't want them to fail.
Right,
so I'm
right.
going to tell them, like, and it's my team. I'm not trying to hire people just so I can motherfuck them, and they're my team now. I've taken you under my wing. I'm going to help you, and whether it's just for today, or if it's this week, or for 10 years, I'm going to train you right now. And if you want to listen, cool. I'll tell you everything I know, because I want the best for you. And I need my show to run well today, because it doesn't work if it doesn't.
Right.
So, but no, the story I had was, then this was a veteran, bro. I'm on this movie. I shouldn't probably give any details, because people know exactly who I'm talking about. But I was doing the show as a drive.
I've got a small audience. Go ahead.
That's right. And we were doing this driving shot, and the run was, we're in this ND City. But anyway, so the run was down this big road, and at the end, we pointed to these cars. That's the shut off. You shut it down right here, and then down there, they shut it down, and they turn around and come back. So the guy's coming around the corner, and he blows past his number 2, blows past the shutdown spot, and goes like another 100 yards down the road, and then just kicks in the e-brake, does fishtail, 180, rah! And I'm just like, he comes back up, I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing? You're in the middle of a city that's not 100% locked down, doing that shit that wasn't decided on. I was so pissed. And that same guy who was, so the first day, so it was a week shoot. The first day we did a lot of hot driving, and I forked out big adjustments for everybody the first day, not because we were doing big gags, but just to get everybody on a good note.
Right.
Because said, everyone, you're getting paid now. That's cool.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Cool. So the next day comes in, and then I paid everybody what they deserved.
Right.
And on top of that slide, the same guy complained about his adjustment the second day. And I go, bro, that's what you deserve. That's not
right.
But he didn't tell me. He told my assistant, and my assistant told me.
Right.
So I said, tomorrow, cut him off. No more adjustments.
Right.
So for 3 days, the dude didn't get any adjustments. I was paying everybody until I said, make him come talk to me.
Right.
And it wasn't until he came and talked to me to work it out. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to hook you up, man. You do what I say. This is my show.
Right.
And don't put other people in danger, man. That's my job, is to make sure everybody's safe. And now, so, I mean, it goes all the way to the top. But usually with the people on the bottom, I don't want them to fail. I'm going to try to hook them up.
Yep.
Because my job, like, not my job, but, I've also have a passion for training people, and I have a stunt school called Atlas Action.
Yeah.
And when I was with Conrad Palmisano, I was like, dude, how can I ever pay you back? He goes, you don't have to pay me back. Just pay it forward someday.
Yep.
So that's my philosophy, is that I've been given so many opportunities from people, and I've put in the work, but I've also had the opportunity. So I'm going to give that out there. Wow. If anybody wants it, I got it. There's a kid right now. Do you know Jenin Gonzalez?
Yes.
So Jenin started taking my stunt class when I first moved to LA. And then we've kind of been friends and kept in touch over the last 5-6 years. And that dude does everything that I tell him to do.
Yeah.
And
he's dedicated. He's talented.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
He's coordinating. He's rigging. He's performing. He's got gigs every month, every 2 weeks. He's got at least something.
Yeah.
If he's not running something, it's like, dude, good for you, bro.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely heavily motivated. So, you were given advice early on, so I can't ask you in closing, what's your advice, because pretty much almost everything that we were speaking about, which, by the way, I usually only do 30 minutes. We're almost at an hour because it's just, I really, really fucking appreciate this.
Man. No,
yeah.
I didn't even realize it.
This is cool. Yeah, me neither. But certainly.
So hold on, but go back. What were you saying about advice?
Yeah. So, your advice to young people, especially now with AI, with all this different. I don't want to get into political stuff, even though today is election day. But with everything going on outside the industry, in the industry, this is a horrible time to be pursuing Hollywood. I think in any aspect, even acting. I mean, it's crazy now. Somebody that has this love, desire like we had, what do you say to them now?
Yeah, dude, I don't know, because I'll bet you my vision of the future for the movie business is maybe even more bleak than yours. I feel AI, it's coming. It's just a matter of time, and we're obsolete. They're at some point going to be able to individualize content to everybody, and it's just like, okay, well, it's all AI. I don't, and you'll be, individually, like, content based on your search engine scrolling, all based on all that stuff, right? They're just going to know everything.
Yeah.
So I don't see and I saw this. Ashton Kutcher did a little talk a couple months ago. I saw it a couple months ago. I don't know when the actual talk was, but he was talking about doing production, and he was saying, he was talking to somebody saying, look, if I'm going to do a shot for my TV show, and in the script it says establishing shot of the house, I'm not going to go take the whole crew down to this house and shoot it and spend $10,000-$20,000 on it. No. I'm going to type on my computer, the AI, give me as an establishing shot of the house, and it'll give it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
So, and now this is just going to now be a question of cost.
Yeah.
AI is going to be able to make movies for super cheap. And if you want to be an individual making movies now, an independent filmmaker, it's going to cost something. You can probably use the AI tools to do it well, though. And actually, for the next couple of years, that's the way. And as far as advice goes, my advice is, and I just told this, I have in my stunt school in Atlas, I mentor people who want it. So I have a couple of people who I'm mentoring right now. And one kid I just told, he's from Seattle and he was living in LA. I said, dude, go back to Seattle. LA is offering you nothing here.
Right.
It's not a place to make it anymore.
No.
And so my advice to everybody is that the way for you to make it in this business is the tools are now out there for you to make your own movies by yourself.
Yeah.
So do it yourself, do it independently, do it off the grid, and come out of the gates with a finished product, throw it down on the table of the studio and say, bam, you want to sell that for me? You want to buy it? It's a done movie. That's the way to do all of it now, is do it yourself.
The old Rocky story, Stallone story, wrote his own script and shopped it around, back then.
But I'm talking about making the movie. I'm talking about writing the script, making the project, getting the funding if you can, but now it's pennies on the dollar based if you're using AI and if you're using things like that. And if you're creative, you have a creative script, you can figure out a way to do a Book of Eli, do something that's like post-apocalyptic, or do something that's like The Raid that takes place in one building, or something that doesn't take a big budget.
Yeah.
And do it yourself, and they call it a negative pickup, make the movie and then give it to somebody to buy it and have them distribute it. That's the model, I think, now.
Wow. Bro, I can't thank you enough, man. Like I said, this was long overdue. You were supposed to be my first guest, but you were in what, Budapest, or you were in no Ireland?
Montreal.
Oh, okay.
That Ireland?
Yes.
This was years ago.
Oh no! I'm sorry.
Montreal.
It was
Yeah.
So, wow, bro, I'm fucking stoked, man. Thanks so much.
Pleasure, man. My pleasure. Yeah.
Brad Martin, man, look him up. IMDb. Just look at his resume. Don't look at mine afterwards because his is just unbelievable. Brad, you're my fucking idol, man. Thank you, brother.
Pleasure, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just want to end off. Anybody that is watching this, I really appreciate you guys supporting me, supporting this. If there's any content, any questions for future guests, please definitely send me instant message, text me, whatever, email, because I do read them and I do take them into a consideration. This has been fun. Thanks so much. Take it easy.